Let's see. Hello! Welcome to the pre-stream. Oh, hey, Lord Volvo Bear. Didn't expect to see you here. Hey, Hero Flame. Welcome. I think everything should be good. The other system isn't turning on yet. The one where I actually used to check the stream. I'm pretty excited. Today's D&D. I'm doing pretty good. How's everyone doing?
Not bad.
I'm doing fine.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's gonna be a shame that Dr. Alexander ain't gonna be here, but personal stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he should be here next week, hopefully.
Yeah, because he still owes me some ritual spells.
Like I said, during this long rest, we can assume that happens, more or less. We can just go over the exact details of how when he gets back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's fine. Okay,
Yeah.
right. Finally, everything should be up. Now I can actually just go and check and see. Oh, by the way, Hero Flame, how are you doing? Like, I know you were there in the morning, right? I mean, my morning, probably your night. But how are you doing? Did you manage to get any, decent sleep, or another day of just not being able to sleep properly? Also, there's like a 5-second delay, which is very good. And okay, I think we're good. So we're basically we got 2 minutes of prep time left, and we're just waiting to see when Bomber shows up. He said he'll be here soon. Don't know exactly when, but I imagine it's not that long. Once more, Laviande. Once more, Laviande will not be showing up because they've got stuff going on. But hopefully that should be sorted soon. Oh, I can't wait to see what happens this session. So many questions, so little answers.
Yeah. Same. I mean, it's gonna be pretty interesting to see. Okay, who is this chick?
Yeah. I am also interested in seeing what you guys are basically up to.
Yeah, I mean,
because the next session, I'm gonna be honest. Whatever you guys decide to do this session is basically, I'm mostly keeping it as RP stuff in town. Because I just want to see, I just essentially want to see what exactly am I going to prepare for, the next few sessions, exploration, combat wise. I've already got some things prepared, but I've only got some things prepared. Like, I've got a few maps and stuff like that. But I prefer it if we picked out what to do this session and actually started next session on. If you guys want to go immediately, I don't mind. I've got stuff prepared.
For the just skip the downtime, just go straight to the main thing.
I mean, if you feel like doing that,
that's
sure.
not an option.
Yeah,
or we could, skip the main thing and just do all the downtime.
You know what? That sounds just as good.
Just watch we do all the side quests, level up,
and here we go.
Instantly knock out the bag.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
basically what happens is I don't personally mind like which you guys prefer doing. You know, if you want to do some more RP stuff in town, get that set up, or if you want to just go immediately be like, okay, I want to go and crush some skulls. Where can I go? Send me away, guard captain.
So we're still missing Laviande.
Session probably next week, hopefully. Yes, they got stuff going on. I'm gonna get the dead counter off the screen because we don't need that. That's for my failures, not yours. Oh.
Doug, just so you know, he died 3 times last stream. There's your spoiler.
Okay.
He died twice. No.
Oh, yeah,
I
Had
died
no,
one time last stream. I died 3 times overall. It turns out
Yeah.
I am actually a pro gamer. I don't die very often in Undertale. It could just be that it's not a hard game by default.
Most games aren't that hard. They're only set to like normal mode or something like that.
Yeah,
If you want to be a hardcore gamer or a good gamer, you got to be able to play on hardcore mode.
I think Undertale is just a very forgiving game in the
Unless
the
you're
most peaceful.
genociding.
Yeah, in genocide, it's a fairly peaceful game. Anyway, onwards we go. God, why did I do this to myself? Escape.
Oh, I can't believe you've done this.
Indeed, I can't believe I've done this either. Okay, right. So everyone, first thing I'd like to show you, well, I say first thing, probably the only thing. We have completely redone the map, the town map.
Yay, new map.
So here's the town map, official town map. I say official. I could have actually done one more thing to make it a bit prettier, but I forgot to do that. Oopsie doodles. It's not super important right now. Basically, this map is exactly how the buildings are right now, and it will expand. This map will expand as we progress in the campaign.
makes sense.
Yeah, so as you can see, compared to last time, there's actually a lot more, like, I've actually drawn a few more roads in. There's a lot more empty spaces. And when you see gray buildings, that's basically buildings which are, like, under construction in various forms. Like, they could either just be an
Or
allocated
empty.
plot or a half-built building.
Okay, so where exactly are we
Here,
from now?
you guys
Okay,
see,
I was thinking it was down there.
yeah, right there you see the church miracle. That's, again, I can't write down everything properly, and is
And
orphanage. I
Just moving Litney down here.
Yeah, I couldn't just like write it all down just because, it wouldn't be very readable.
Orphanage
That's why
is
a
a
legend.
long
That's why a
text.
legend is useful as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do. You know what? Next time. This time. I've got the map down anyway. So for the most part, I think it's a pretty decent map just to show you like how incomplete everything is. It'll give you a better idea of the place. It's bustling, but it's not quite there yet. It has only been 2 years, which, very impressive for just 2 years,
Yeah.
But that's all they had. So anyway, a recap for last session. Would anyone want to do a recap for last session?
I mean, me and Bomber did the last 2. Doug.
I mean, I will say Bomber is pretty excited to just have his evil puppet just recap everything.
I mean, it sounds good in the video to have the evil puppet recap, like the evil narrator in what do you call it? Old cartoons from the 90s. So
Oh yeah.
this time on Dragon Ball Z, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
This time on
Okay,
Dragon Ball
so-
Z. This time on Dragon Ball Z, the evil schmuck Zegorod, whatever his goddamn name is, blew up another goddamn planet while our heroes were haplessly enjoying a bunch of ice cream on a blind double date. Teenage hormones. When a stupid date is more important than saving the goddamn galaxy.
Yeah, that just sounds like modern storytelling.
Yeah.
It's an anime for you.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so if you want a puppet to do the recap, go ahead. Feel free.
I'm good with that.
Let us recall the facts of our last adventure. Finally, the fools managed to complete their mission and sadly still haven't turned it in. This is mainly due to the fact that the lady's busy at the moment. So our adventurers went their separate ways to do some exploring around the town. Razzle stole from churches. Doug got involved with human trafficking crimes. Not per se in the crimes, but more opposed of the crimes. And Litney simply assisted with the woman they found last time. This all combinated into the group finding the child in the barrel and are now attending to it. But there's no more time for reflection. We need to get back out there. Back into the fragile frontier.
Cue opening theme.
We have no music at all.
Yeah.
Just because there is no way for me, even if I could switch music here, there's no way you'd be able to hear anything. So it's rather pointless.
Yeah. But anyways.
I mean, you can add sound bites to a Roll20, so
Yeah, but those don't sound good. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
Anyway, we ignore that. So, moving forward. I would like to first start off by reminding everyone where they were. Doug, I believe, had went to the church to seek aid from the priests / other clerics.
Yes.
Litney was left in the room with the child watching over her. Razzle was looking to fence the items she stole, I believe. I'm going to take that silence as a yes.
Honestly, I was just kind of standing over Litney's shoulder while they're attending to the child.
Okay, so you'll fence the item some other time, right?
Probably not the best time to slip out.
Fair enough.
I should probably update my character sheet just so we. Sorry, that's my dogs. Just so I know that we took a long rest, correct?
You are taking a long rest right now, yes.
All right, I'll make sure to update that. Sorry,
Okay.
my dog.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we basically I will just skip through the rest of the night and just summarize it, if that's okay with you guys.
Sounds good.
Yes.
I'm fine with that. Just need to get my AC back to its normal state because mage armor's gone.
Fair
Ah,
enough.
Only partially. Cast it before you go to sleep again. Good.
I mean, no. After he wakes
And
up.
when you wake up.
Yeah. Again, I'm as long as you have the spell slot cut off and you're not ambushed, right? I'm willing to assume you just have mage armor on all the time. Just remember to mark off that spell slot.
You know what? Sure, I'll do that at night, just so it's like if they try to hit Litney, ding! What the heck?
Okay. Right. So, to summarize, Doug went to a temple. Well, Doug, would you call it a temple or a church?
I would call it a church.
Okay. Doug went to his church, grabbed another cleric who's a bit more, medically inclined than you are.
Yeah.
Because Doug's more of the, the DeHeader. He's not one
He's
for.
the group's executioner.
He's not really one for putting the troops back together, except for with just basic magic.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we need an actual dangerous doctor.
Yes, you need a doctor who knows about cutting people up and fixing them together.
Well, I mean,
undoing the work.
Doug can cut them up, but
Yeah.
the rest of it's a little hard.
Yeah, putting
fair
them
enough.
back together is
Yes.
that's a little bit more.
Okay. So basically, you grab a priest who's actually a bit more medically inclined. If you have an NPC prepared for this, feel free to just introduce them, or if not, we leave them as unnamed cleric for right now.
I'm going to go grab Shrigar, a cleric who's more medically inclined, healer inclined, I guess is the way to put it. He's how do you call him? He is a weird amalgamation of people combined into one.
So a flesh golem.
Kind of a flesh golem, kind of a changeling, kind of a creature.
All body horror.
Yeah.
He is the embodiment of hashtag it's complicated.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's the embodiment of hashtag don't make the cleric mad.
Okay, fair enough. Could you write his name in the chat, please? Just so that we
Yes,
just so we're aware of the spelling. Okay, Sugar. Okay, wonderful. So we got Sugar. Okay.
Yep.
So you call Sugar to basically come in and have a look-see at the child, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So first off, as Sugar is having a look-see at the child, the guard lady, Litney guard, actually does come into Halfling, and she has another doctor with her. There's a small, fairly thin-looking man. At first glance, you'd think, oh, he's a human or something like that, But in that second glance, you can't immediately tell what he is. He looks like he could be a human. He also looks like he could maybe be enough. Like he doesn't have long ears or anything of the sort, or at least if he does, like he's got like a hood. He's got a hood on, and it doesn't really. But it doesn't. It's not a very loose hood that you'd be able to like hide long ears or something like that. So you can't immediately tell what exactly this man is. But he looks human enough. So suffice to say, you can just call him that. So he comes in, carrying along a medical kit, essentially. He sees you. He sees Sugar. He gets a friendly greeting. And basically, he also looks over the child. If you let him. Considering this is basically your this is your sex priest church.
The more the merrier.
Understood. So both doctors have a look-see over her. Now, here's basically the conclusion they came up with. There are drugs in her system, without a doubt. Now, the thing is, how many drugs? It's like immediately hard to tell just because she is unconscious, so they can't actually see any proper signs. But they know that she's decently healthy. Again, stout, malnourished, quite thin, but she doesn't seem to have any lingering, injuries. She doesn't seem to have any, issues, apparent issues at the very least. So they believe that she should just require like a bit of a healing rest. She just requires a lot of sleep, good food, probably a few visits to clinic. As great as a church is, clinics are around for a reason.
Yeah.
If it's not if it's one of your paladins, then basically, paladins have the blessing of the gods, and then they're first off very robust, and second of all, a little bit of healing magic on top of that. They're good. They're right as rain. Clerics too, to an extent. But ordinary people, they're a bit more tricky to keep watch over. Not as robust as adventurers and the like. So basically, what happens is, you need to bring her in at least a few times in the next week, just to have her get a look over at the clinic, and to check it to make sure there's no lingering addiction. If there is a lingering addiction, then things get a lot more complicated.
That's fair.
Yes.
I like to imagine like they're examining her, and I put in the chat. Rachel's laying on the child's face, and just like trying to take a nap.
Yeah. So this is rough. Basically, this is as much as they can determine. They can't determine anything else, because she is still unconscious. So unfortunately, they can't ask her any questions. They can't determine, how she's doing mentally. All they can just guess is physically how she's doing. They would recommend that if you just admit her into the clinic right now, it'd probably be okay. It'd probably be a bit safer, like when she wakes up or whatnot. But if you're worried about safety and stuff like that, it might be better for her to be with you, because you're three fairly capable of people. Plus a few more clerics around.
Yeah. While this is going on, Litney just is being silent and just is still just comforting, and it just has the kid on their lap,
Yes. So
just really taking it in.
yep. So basically, that's the best they can do. That's the best they can come up with right now. And with that, I don't believe you guys have anything else you want to do. Like, if you guys have anything last minute you want to do before your long rest, let me know. Because otherwise, I'm gonna just say you're gonna have to settle down somewhere for your long rest. I imagine probably. I imagine you're probably going to be sleeping like either in the orphanage on bedrolls or something, or in the church. The church doesn't have as many free rooms, at least not right now. Parts of the church are still a bit filled up, because they're actually other clerics who are like injured and stuff, versus not all the rooms have been properly built. The church is ever expanding.
Litney would definitely be staying at the orphanage, just because there's nothing there, and if someone enters, they would probably just see a dead corpse, a lifeless corpse.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so Litney's gonna be in the orphanage waiting for the child. Doug, where are you planning on being? You're holding up where?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold up with everyone else in the orphanage.
Fair enough. Razzle, what are you up to right now? You're just gonna sleep and then deal with things later?
Fencing.
Fencing. Wonderful, wonderful. So as you go out to get the fencing done, I'm gonna ask you, where exactly are you going? Are you going to the exact same person who you bought the shit from in the morning? Yeah, in the morning. Or are you going to be looking for someone else?
I'd look for someone else, but honestly, I just want to get the standard price that you said each item was worth.
Fair enough. If you're just after the standard price, you can go off. You can go to him and get it dealt with. You will get 8 gold in various denominations.
Got it.
Yeah. So basically, that's what you're gonna get. Just mark off all that stolen church shit, and then mark on 8 gold. Okay.
Only 8 gold.
I mean, that's the standard price if they're not going to be looking around for a better deal.
I'm sorry. I know gold is supposed to be a little bit more expensive, but 8 gold does not sound that impressive when you think about it. When said out loud, I mean.
Well, I mean, to be fair, for most people, that's what, a year's wage.
And it is stolen stuff, and Razzle is just going through the only fence she knows so far. You know, she's not going to like a better fence who might be able to get the stuff done with for a better price. But yeah. Anyway, it's complicated. There is actually a bit more to say about, how much every person actually earns. There's a full table I have access to, but we're not going to talk about that right now because things get complicated. Numbers. I'm not going to argue numbers with you guys right now. Anyway,
Wow.
so you guys sleep through the night. You guys can all mark yourself off for a long rest. And Litney.
And that's how I'm flavoring Litney taking a long rest.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So Litney, as you sit there, watching over this girl, your mind idly just processing things.
Mm-hmm.
Stare down at her. You're lying down there. You see the tag, the back of her neck. Just such a small thing.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't expect to just immediately notice. If you were a normal person, especially with your lack of perception, you're aware of how you kind of just don't notice most things.
Yeah.
So you find it a bit incredulous that you're able to notice such a small little thing just the first time you see it.
Mm-hmm.
To describe it in a little more detail, the overall size of this marking is roughly about the size of your thumb. A normal person might have put it off as just a weird burn or something of the like, but you recognize it for what it was. As you just think about it, you consider what it means. It's not, and the more you look at it, the more you realize it's not exactly a system. It's not exactly a lettering scheme which you're familiar with per se. It's more just the idea of the brand and the rough approximation of, how long has it been. That system is consistent with what you know, but lettering's a bit different. It's probably some other language. You're not immediately sure this is like, oh, this is how they do it with common. You can read it, you understand what it means, but as you like kind of blink, every time you blink, you just have like a vague recollection. It's slightly different. It's the same general shape. Maybe a little bit bigger in your memory. But it's the same system. How you number it. You put 1 dot in for every week. This girl has roughly 2 dots. There is basically, that there are 3 words written on it, and then just a bunch of dots. You cannot understand what this means for the context of this girl, but you understand what it means in general. This is the identification number of the slave, the owner's mark at least, and how long they've been in possession. This is usually marked for when you hold a slave, not for owning them, but for selling them specifically as merchandise.
So the master is more of the person selling the slave.
Usually one and the same, or it's usually, through a middleman. Sometimes it's a slave. Sometimes it's a slave stolen from someone else, who intended to sell it. You can never tell. In a world of thieves, who's the true thief?
A thief or the one that stole from them?
Yeah. So in a world of thieves and evil people, who's to say if they're following the law? They're probably not. They're probably not following even their own law.
Most likely, because lawyers exist.
Yeah, sure. I summon ye to court for damaging my illegal deal.
But
Yeah,
uh,
and
one
as
more.
you're staring down at this girl,
Mhm.
your eyes turn to her face, and for a split second, you swear you see these horrified eyes staring up at you. The sound, the ambient silence just comes to a roaring, deafening buzz. You can feel blood. You can feel blood flowing down your fingertips as you touch her. You can hear the words, Litney, why? Why? And you snap back to the present.
I will
The girl
say
is still
that
asleep. There has
uh,
been no change.
I would just like to say, Litney does let out a haunting scream, like waking up from a very bad nightmare.
Doug especially hears this. Razzle might or might not.
I mean, Rachel does, as in goes up to Litney and looks concerned. Uh, You just, Doug, you just hear Litney just screaming, just like try to catch their breath, and they're like, "Wait a minute, I I can't breathe. Why can't I breathe?" Almost like having a remembering, like forgetting, like, oh, they're dead, and so they're having a bit of a panic attack. Is they're going to do anything about that, or is like,
It's what I'm trying to think on, actually. Doug will wake up to the sound of the noise, look at you having a panic attack, and go, "So, you okay?"
uh, I don't know. And Rachel's just like nuzzling on Litney. I I might have had a dream, but Litney's trying to calm down after that. It, something from my past. I don't know. It's obvious. What is Litney saw, it's like it terrifies them.
So Doug will go up to Litney with a cup in his hand and hand it over to Litney and go, "Here, drink this. This might help with those dreams a little."
Litney takes the drink and takes a small sip.
It's
It does.
alcohol. It's hard alcohol.
Okay, so actually, they take a huge chunk of it. Um, do I need to make a
Yes, please roll me a Constitution saving throw. Let's check how that goes.
Okay, I do get advantage for getting poisoned or anything like poisoned, and so
Is
hold
this-
on.
Well, that will be unfortunate.
Do I need do I still roll with advantage or no?
Go
Well,
ahead.
your goal is to pass out, so
Roll with advantage. Go ahead.
18.
18. Unfortunate. You find yourself like you drink it. You drink the alcohol down. you find it calms your nerves a bit, but not as much as you'd have liked. You know, for the most part, your constitution, shall we say, seems to
Yeah.
deny you the relief it would have provided normally. But it's still the memory of what it feels like, does put you a bit of
Yeah, it's
ease.
like subconsciously, it's almost like having a bit of a phantom pain. Anyway, like you can't really. There's nothing there, but you can actually feel it.
Yeah. That's the vague idea here.
Yeah.
You're not getting drunk, but you remember what it feels like to get dulled by the alcohol.
Litney.
I mean, I have something harder if you'd like something harder. As he pulls out a vial of holy water.
Litney gives almost a weak chuckle, like, no, I'm fine, thank you though.
Okay. Back in the pocket.
Litney thumbs the container or that had the alcohol in it, and it's like, Doug,
Yes.
I still don't understand how, but just seeing the markings here on her neck, it's almost like I know exactly what these all mean, and they'll tell him what the dots mean, what all the markings that vaguely look like bruises or scratches is, as for brevity's sake.
Yeah. Well,
So 2 weeks. This poor girl's been enslaved for 2 weeks.
well, 2 weeks is better than a year.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe there was some misinterpretation of what I saw in my vision. I can't.
I believe your vision is true.
Well, yeah, basically, the memory, since Litney does explain they can't really sleep. It just, sorry, my dogs are playing. But they have, if they try and concentrate, they get visions of parts of their past.
Well, it sounds like it would be an interesting thing to be able to do. Tell where you're from and all that.
Yeah, but it's always random and might not be very helpful, but
Everything is more helpful than nothing. A
What it-
little, a weird snippet of your childhood might be better to tell you about your family life as a child, which would lead off to where how you got like this.
Litney nods at this, but what if it turns out that what happened in my past, I was actually one of these terrible people who sold children?
Well, then now's your time to repent. Repent by your own actions, or repent by the blade. The choice is yours, if that is the case.
I guess, yeah, that laugh was also in character.
Oh yeah.
That Litney does chuckle. Sorry for having a bit of sorry for waking you up earlier.
I was about to get up anyways.
By the way, what's the time currently?
Early morning.
So about around 5 or 6.
Aroundish that time, yeah.
All right.
I mean,
guess
for
you
you,
have some-
Litney, it felt like it was just a few minutes. But then now only you realize when you glance out, you realize, oh, already bright out. When did that happen?
Yeah, like like the
Yeah.
like the time just as it's like actually having a dream.
Yeah, usually time flows, fairly slow for you. There's
Yeah.
the first time, at least, in the month you've been around, that a night's passed just like that.
I guess you have some congregations to get to, or something.
That's what the other priests are for. I'm just up early out of habit.
Doug, do you think even the most redeemable, or most evil of beings can be redeemed?
Everyone is redeemable in the eyes of Merkel. Just whether or not you're going to stand beside him or under him is really the only difference.
Lenny just gives a well, that was helpful kind of look, but they can understand where they're coming from. Death is death. Good, evil. It no matter who you are, it doesn't discriminate.
Pretty much. And even then, absolute worst case scenario, I will forgive you.
Promise?
On your grave.
I'm holding you to that. So now we've got a death pact.
Yep.
Great!
If
You just need
Litney-
2 more people and you'll have a proper cult.
Well, I mean, like, look at that. We made ourselves a death pact. If Litney somehow goes evil, basically, Doug will not hesitate to put them down.
She's
Yep,
going to the
sounds
dark
like good to
side. We need to put her down.
So that gives Litney some comfort, even if it is. Yeah. So I guess unless Raz wakes up, Litney's gonna try and get everything and
I will say,
ready.
Raz is still sleeping. They were undisturbed by the shout, almost like they don't care.
How is Raz sleeping, by the way?
Was that
How is Raz sleeping, by the way?
like a cat?
Question: did the puppet hear the screaming?
You can't tell. All you know is that there is Raz's bag, which is still closed up.
You might have heard
Hey,
a
it's
muffled, "Shut the fuck up!"
You do hear muffled talking.
Wonderful.
By the way, we never really asked our wooden friend's name.
Porcelain.
I'll ask him
His
when
name is
everyone's out.
Porcelain?
No, he's made of porcelain, just so you
Oh,
guys know.
okay.
Oh, porcelain. Yeah, all right. So basically, Chucky or Slappy from Goosebumps.
Maybe,
But either
maybe
way-
not.
But either way, Linny does mention that to Doug. Like maybe once Raz wakes up, we'll ask our little doll's name.
Okay.
Might be a good option.
So, pushing forward a little bit of time. I will not ask Litney what she wants to do. But let's say around the time Razzle wakes up. Raz, what do you want to do?
Usual morning routine. Stretch. Slowly rise up. And the first thought that comes to mind is breakfast.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
It is no time for breakfast, of course. It's almost noon. Most most likely going to get breakfast.
Wonderful. That's a great idea. So I assume you guys would wait until Razzle's basically ready for you all to head out to get the money, right? That's probably what you've agreed on last night.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
okay.
I think we should probably also think about dropping the girl off at the clinic, mostly because it would still be a little weird that we're carrying a unconscious child through town.
Have no fear. Don't worry. Just give me one moment.
All right.
So Razzle would wake up like very late, around noon, and then get breakfast. Okay, understood. So I'm gonna have to ask Doug
Noon?
what he. That's what Razzle said just now. So, I'm gonna
Near
go.
noon. It
Yeah,
isn't
near
noon yet.
noon. I'm gonna turn back the clock a bit because things will happen before that. Doug, what would you do? For until like 9 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
So
Until
Doug's going to.
yeah, until like late morning or something. Mid morning.
Alright.
What would you be doing?
So Doug's going to do his morning rituals of praying and grabbing breakfast. But then past that, he's going to go to the Church of Merkel and try to make sure that they understand that they're in charge of an orphan at for the rest of the day.
Yes, that
Passing off
makes
the child. Right, basically passing off the child.
Yeah, passing off the child to the other clerics that are in the Church of Merkel who can better.
Please specify that they aren't. If there's any hint of her not, barely living, that they aren't allowed to kill her on the spot.
They're aware. But especially since one of them is the one who came to make sure she was alive last night.
All right.
So,
yeah.
just make sure you know.
Listen, they're not all fanatics who wish to kill for the death god.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Just
like,
half of them.
I know.
Yeah,
I know by Doug's just how Doug works, like giving final rites and all that.
Yeah, that's Doug's category of the whole thing. Sugar there is
Yeah,
the
that's
healer
why
when anyone needs it. So
yeah, that's fair.
Fair enough. Okay, that sounds reasonable. Good. We're gonna say that that's what you're doing.
okay.
Litney.
Hmm?
Around that time, the child stirs.
Litney will let Doug and Raz know. Well, let Doug know since Raz still asleep.
Good luck waking up Razzle. You speak at Razzle. You assume that she's like a cat. She's got big ears. Maybe she'll hear it. Maybe she'll remember when she wakes up.
Well, the easiest way to wake up a cat is to throw water on them.
Or
That's also the easiest way to get a cat to hate you.
Yes, that's
Oh,
true.
absolutely.
Also,
But-
you can also startle them.
Well, yeah, but you might be able to walk up to Raz and pick them up like you would a cat, and just stroke and pet them, and then dump them in the lake. But not saying we do it. I'm not saying we do it, but it's an option.
It is technically possible. Technically. It is also possible for her to get a nat 20 against you in a claw attack.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, Litney will try to say, "Hey Raz, wake up," and realize like, oh, she's still asleep.
Mhm.
Hey, Doug, she's awake, and she's waking up.
All right, so let's go have a look then, shall we?
Bradshaw would like look over Litney's shoulder, also watching the child stir.
So, As you're watching her, she just slowly opens one eye and the other. You know, uh, her eyes seem a bit blurry, out of focus. You know, like it seems
Bloody?
to take blurry.
Or
Maybe
blurry?
a little bit bloodshot also. Not quite bloody, but just like tired. Probably because of the drug-induced sleep. Might not have been the best time for her. You know.
True.
So she slowly just opens her eye, just blinks, looks around. Her
Litney,
eyes go from left to right to left, turns her head ever so slightly, locks onto the
Litney,
lot of you.
Litney gives a calm and reassuring smile. Hello there, little one.
She
Sleep well?
stares for a few seconds, and I have to ask you: is there anything nearby her? Any items?
I would imagine Litney has their quarterstaff right next to them.
And Rachel.
Yeah, and Rachel. But Rachel's like on Litney's shoulder.
Okay, wonderful. So you would probably say that your pack is there. It was next to her also, right? Next to the lot of you.
Well, the weapon, Litney's quarterstaff, yes, just in case someone came in and for some reason attacked.
Okay, are you holding the quarterstaff right now?
No, it's leaning right on the chair.
Wonderful. Shower one. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So the girl immediately bolts to her feet, grabs the quarterstaff, trips over her own foot, and falls back down onto the blanket.
No, it's all right. It's all right. We're not gonna hurt you.
Litney has their hands up, and Rachel kind of mimics.
Stay back, wild corpse!
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, hold up. I gotta change that voice a little bit. It's
That
a
is not
bit, a little higher pitch. Stay back. Stay back. Stay back, you wild corpse! Don't make me punch you.
It's all right. It's all right.
I'm
It's
pretty
all right.
strong. I'm a good puncher. I'm the best boxer in my village.
Litney just smiles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
Won the championship.
You know what? Litney is going to.
She gets up. She gets up. She realizes that she can't. She's got the staff in one arm, pointing at you in the other arm. She's just got her fist balled up. Got a boxer stance. Does not look like she'll be able to hit you with anything.
Yeah, it's like
now call a peace, little one. We actually saved you.
from being sold off.
She stares at you. She blinks for
Do I
a
need to
moment
roll
or two.
perception? Or do I need to roll persuasion?
Roll
Are you
persuasion.
deceptive?
Roll persuasion. Go ahead, roll persuasion.
Come on, persuasion. Don't.
Come on, that one.
12.
Oh my god. She has a -3 in wisdom. Her guard is somehow better than your +4. Unbelievable. So basically, she just stares at you. How do I know you're not a evil corpse? She says.
Well,
She says, glaring, just like narrowing her eyes at you, and then you just hear her stomach growl. Ignore that.
Are you hungry? I mean, Duck, do you have any food on you?
As you say that, are you hungry? She said, yes, no. I mean, no. I'm not gonna take food. I'm not gonna take food from you. My mama raised me better than that.
Litney, he just calmly walks up to the child and gently puts their hand on their head. We'll get you some food.
As you approach,
Bonk.
does a 14 hit you?
You allowed me to cast as mage armor beforehand.
You've been
so
awake for
16.
like a few hours also, so yeah.
Yeah, so 16 is the AC.
So basically, she just it's like she's gonna like stab you with the staff, but she's like poke, poke, poke. You know, just like she can't use the staff. It's too big.
Despite not despite it not having like
It tickles a bit.
actual nerves, Litney just acts like they're being tickled. Stop! It tickles.
Don't enjoy this, she says, throwing down the staff. I'm strong. I'm really strong. I'm better than you. And she just pulls out. She puts up a dukes.
You know
With all
what?
this commotion, I'm just gonna have Raz slowly wake up in the background.
Oh yeah, as she throws the staff, as she throws the quarterstaff down, it bounces off the floor and hits Raz.
Okay, no, if that's the case, that Raz is just instantly up like any cat.
And then seeing Raz just spring up like from a corpse, it's just like whoa. She's like,
Oh.
Whoa, I'm not scared. You're scared.
Litney just like, okay. I know Litney doesn't have the best.
I will
HP,
say, you guys can guess pretty well why she was drugged so heavily.
I could see. Yeah, Litney is going to at least entertain the kid a bit, and despite not having the best HP, Litney like walks over, leans down and turns the side of their head and just points at their cheek, like, signifying like, come on, let me see how good you are with your fist.
She blinks for a second, stares at you, stares over at the cat, stares over at the to her, large dwarf with the scary white mask. She looks over to you, it's like, no, I don't beat up defensive women.
I'm not even sure if I'm a woman.
But you're old.
I don't even know that.
She's genuinely confused when you say that. She just blinks and just looks at you. She looks at you and she's just confused. It's like, huh?
Yes, I have amnesia. For all I know, I've been dead for about a month.
She just stares at you for like a solid few seconds, completely forgetting that she was in a fighting stance. She just asks, "You can't check."
Thing is, I can't really be put to sleep. So if I go check with a coroner, it's I would be feeling every single pain.
She just blinks and she's very confused. You can tell she probably has more questions, but she has no idea where to start.
Anyway,
You hear her stomach growl once more. Shut up!
Doug, can you go get your flock or fellow clergy and have them prepare breakfast for her?
Doug walks up and goes, "Okay, Elf, come with me. We're gonna go get food." And leads her off to the church where there's always breakfast going on, anyways.
She basically just, as she says, she basically just sees. She's like, "Don't get any closer, fatty. No.
I pick her up by the scruff of the neck and carry her like you would a cat
Be
or a
be
kitten.
gentle with the child.
She waves
Look,
her
she's been through a
arms.
lot.
She waves her arms, trying to hit you. She cannot, despite the fact that you aren't very hard to hit. You know, like despite the fact
Yeah.
that you're a very large you're a very large topic. I mean, sorry, target. Doesn't seem
Yeah,
like she'll
you'd
be able
think.
to hit you. She doesn't seem to have very much coordination. And as you carry her like that, when you get close enough that you can smell the food, she just her flailing around becomes just like in name only, where she's just vaguely just moving her arms, but her eyes are like kind of transfixed, and she's like drooling already, and she's like,
I think Litney would fall in, and despite not having saliva glands, the moment and they smell food, they have the same expression. We got two
Wonderful.
hungry. We got two hungry folk.
Wonderful.
Razzle's too tired to do the same. They just kind of like droopily walk over and sit down.
I love how I characterize Litney's love for food. No saliva coming out, but you could definitely tell by the expression. Food. Yay.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So you have a nice proper meal. Good breakfast. The foundation of your day. And the foundation of this little girl's day seems to be quite exceptional, as she eats enough for 2 fully grown adults.
Two dwarven adults or 2 human adults?
Or
Dwarven.
Goliath adult.
Because I feel like a dwarf should be able to eat more than a human.
Oh yeah, she eats enough for 2 dwarven adults. And Doug, you are very concerned when you see that. And you're just like, how? What? How? What?
How is this elf girl paying the same amount for a dwarf?
And while she's eating, she's also with her mouth full. She's basically like, this doesn't mean it. This doesn't mean anything. You can't win me
Please
over
do not-
just food. You can't win me over.
Please don't eat with your mouth full, dearie.
So,
Lily sounds like
She
a parent. Like,
narrows her eyes at you very suspiciously, and then she's basically like, she doesn't say anything, but she chews for a good few seconds, swallows, and then she just says, "Never." And then she just continues eating, but she doesn't talk with as much food in her mouth.
Litney again shows that whole, despite being undead, it's how they're eating isn't. It's more like a refined person, like Litney has table manners. Is
Yeah.
basically.
Fair enough. I won't complain about that. I won't call you I won't call you a posh bastard just because you are one.
They ain't eating with their hand. They ain't like grabbing stuff with their hands and just shoving it down. It's more like fork, knife, eat.
Wonderful.
So while they are eating, Doug is going to look at the child and go, "So here's the deal. You get food, there's a roof over your head. How does it sound?"
And protection from whoever kidnapped you.
Well, that comes regardless.
As you say
No.
that, I imagine you're probably saying this closer to the end of the meal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
As
you're
you say
shoving
that,
it.
she slows down, and then she stops eating, and then she just stares at you for a moment. Stares, turns, looks at Litney, stares, looks at the cat, stares, looks back at you, Doug, and she's got this expression on her face. It's insight. Anyone? Would anyone like to insight this
Sure.
expression? Otherwise, I'm gonna just
I'm
have to say
very-
complicated.
I'm currently away from the computer, but I will
I
give
will
Doug
roll for
advantage.
you. Don't worry.
All
Have
right, I
no
would
fear.
like to give Doug advantage. All right.
I
Okay,
insight nothing.
you insight nothing. This child has a face more blank than your mask. You cannot
17.
read it. Cool, I'm opening up Litney's sheet to just roll that as well. It's loading.
It would just be a flat D20 because I have 0 wisdom.
You could have told me that. Thank you very much. 11, not bad. Okay, surprisingly, Litney
Doug
and
got
Doug
17.
don't figure out that you're like, complicated expression. I wonder what that means. You know, who knows what she's thinking. She's as unreadable as Doug's mask. And Razzle, you're looking at her and you're like, that
She's just like me
child is
for real.
angry. That child is like, he's got a lot of thoughts going on right now. Okay, first off, you can tell there's some anger or indignation, something along those lines, you know? Like she's pissed. You know, something not quite at you, but in general, she's pissed. She looks a little desperate, you know? Like, you know, just from like, you can just kind of tell from her eyes. She's got a bit of desperation going on over there. You know, clenched fist, you know, eyes like just shaking ever so slightly. Again, Doug and Litney aren't able to notice that, but you are. You know, call it instincts. You know, as you know, reading people is an important skill to you. How else would you find easy marks?
Yep.
And you're pretty sure this kid's got a whole lot going on. You know, a whole lot more than just like, oh, I was kidnapped and I was kidnapped and enslaved. She's basically got a whole other thought process going on. You know, it's like she's got unfinished business that she basically just says, no, I can't. No.
I'm not even saying you have to join the church.
No.
Stick around a couple days, eat some food,
It,
have a roof over your head.
It's dangerous for a child your age to be wandering around without somewhere to go.
She
What we're doing is offering
she,
a way for you.
she hesitates, bites her lip.
Tell us your business, and we'll handle it.
Razzle. You get the feeling what she wants to do isn't something she wants other people to know about.
Razzle just makes an illusion sign and passes it over to the kid.
Yeah, like you can't tell exactly what it is, like if it's something illegal or something, but you get the feeling like out of self-preservation, probably that's what you're thinking. You think like she's, despite everything, she does seem to have something going on. And what do you see in your sign?
The sign is something that only really she can see. It just says, "Level with me, kid. You actually need something, don't you?"
She takes the sign. She basically squints at it for a good long time, and she turns to you and says, I can't read common.
Really? What do you read?
I'm the best at reading Elvish and Dwarven. No one can beat me in Dwarven. I'm the best. And she just turns and she sees, and she just remembers that Doug is a dwarf. And then she just turns back. I can read Elven. No one can beat me in Elven.
Well, I don't know if I remember what languages I have.
By the way, Razzle.
Yeah.
Razzle. She just 100% lied through her teeth that she knew how to read Dwarven. she doesn't know a lick of Dwarven, and then she just realized, oh wait, there's a dwarf right there. God damn it, I can't tell that lie here.
Well, I mean,
And then
Litney,
you
that feels like
question
a
if she
very
can even
basic
read
lie.
Elvish, but she might be able to.
Hold on. Gotta roll something.
Go ahead.
Doug is going to go, well, it's a good thing you speak Elvish. I speak Elvish, but I don't speak
Go to
Dwarven.
insight. Never mind.
Oh no.
Wait, hold on. Be lucky this.
How do you guys like me? How
Can't
I
you read? Like at
Deception.
all?
Oh, no. She doesn't believe me.
probably the chances are very good she cannot. But she can act like she can.
Razzle has realized that she is incapable of talking to this child.
I hope you like how I'm playing this child, you know?
Litney just chuckles. Well, it seems like we found someone who can't understand you, Lady Raz. In a joking manner.
Raz looks to the bag and considers using the puppet. But that's a bad idea.
I
It
would
is a
imagine
bad
so,
idea to wave around a toy in front of a child.
especially in a church where if something disrupts the order of said church, they're gonna come after us.
And this
Oh, I
is the
mean,
church of the god of murder.
No, that's Bane.
Oh yeah, that.
But
No,
you know, he
you
might
want
burst
Bane.
into flames as soon as he's out of the bag.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a consecrated bag.
Actually, even if it's evil, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be consecrated.
Well,
Just saying.
I mean, no, I'm saying it's not a special bag.
True. We would have been hearing screaming by now.
Or seeing smoke coming out, just oozing out of the bag.
I mean, you do smell something that smells like incense. That's what all I'll tell you right now.
Linny was like,
church, that's commonplace.
but Linny's
Sure.
like, anyway. Wait, what?
Have no fear. Just come on, continue. What are you saying?
Linny leans forward. So, we never asked you your name, little one. And, I'm Litney Zaral. Litney says with a smile.
She stares at you. She doesn't say anything for a good moment. And why should I tell you my name?
Well, I mean, it's only common courtesy, especially if we wanted to hurt you, we would have left you in the barrel.
Thrown you in the river.
And besides, I abhorred the idea of abusing a child.
She's silent for a few more seconds. You know? And she basically just says, Inadi.
Inadi? I'm guessing that was.
Remember that name, cause I'm the best. And you're gonna have to mark that name down as a champion of everything, basically.
Right, Linny
Razzle's
pulls
gonna
out
pick on her a tiny bit by making another sign that says, "Yes, but you can't read this, can you?"
She looks to you. She squints, and she's basically like, hold up a second. Can flash R1 need with her -3 wisdom, she's going to incite you to try and guess what you've written. Oh my god! She's really good at rolling insight despite the fact that she's got such low. Yes, so she reads you. Do you want to roll deception to contest this or what?
Hold on. Let me check Let me check. I'm going to try.
Because she's not gonna read that sign. She's gonna read you.
I see. Let me see how my +6 deception works.
Not
Not well.
well, apparently.
Yeah, it's in the morning.
Okay, so she reads you and she basically says, I know what you wrote. You wrote something like, I can't read that. So she shakes her head. Tut, tut. How could you be so childish? This is why I'm the
Lady
best,
Rat.
not
Aim
you.
is to be
Lady
Raz is
Rat,
going to
why
double down. The sign is now extremely long.
It's all yo mama jokes.
And she just
Nah, it's just
eyes
something like
eyes
Using
go
it-
wide. What?
the sign's like a little rant of just like fancy words to simply say, "You're quite good at reading people. This is just the same. You can't read this sign." And the ludicrous amount of words that are written on it.
Rubber
Her
paper, donkey
eyes
bumper.
go wide and she like just eyes dart like that. Huh? Huh? And she basically said, huh,
Lady Raz,
reading
please don't pick on the child. She's already been
reading
through enough.
readings for losers. I wouldn't bother reading all of that. You have to earn my reading effort. And then she just turns away, like,
Yeah.
wipes her head from, like a few drops of sweat, like, oh god.
Well,
And then she just turns to the rest of you guys, basically. So I can't be here. I have to go. I need to leave.
No, you can stay.
I know. I
you're too
I
weak
can't.
to do anything.
Raz
right now.
raises the sign to the other two to simply say, maybe we could say something to the person who's supposed to pay us, who oversees all the stuff.
She looks
Hmm.
to you. She sees the sign. She's like, "You three are conversing in secret. How dare you!"
Raz looks at her, points to her throat, and then makes a no, like, shake head, like, can't talk.
Yeah, our feline friend here is mute. Meaning, yeah, can't talk.
She blinks her eye just once, twice. It's like, ah.
But I do think you're still you're not well enough to go on your own. For all we know that-
No, what are you talking about? I'm always ready. I'm perfectly fine. She stands up and she's basically like, almost a flex, but she basically just trips over her own feet.
Litney holds up their hand. Peace. When we found you, it was obvious you had been drugged. We don't know if there's any withdrawals or any bad side effects. Litney's trying to make it as easy for Inadi to comprehend. So we need to make sure you're better before we can send you off.
Razzle raises the sign they raised like 5 seconds ago to say, let's take her to the guard lady. Not the one that got us here, but the one who's going to pay us.
I agree. Besides, I believe the guard captain would be interested in hearing your story, as well as we do.
She stares she looks down at her feet for a few moments. It's like she doesn't exactly know what to say. And she just looks up to you and she just says, okay.
Very well. By the way, looking at Inadi, is she about the same age as Zid?
Absolutely not.
All right. Zid's much
Okay.
younger. Huh?
Zid isn't at a Kroger. He's probably 1 year old.
And that makes
Fair
him like a teenager.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even 1 year old probably then.
Don't they reach maturity at like 2?
3.
Dang.
A 3-year-old Arakakra is an adult, a fully grown adult. Zid is
So-
barely a year old.
So, in terms of humans, he's a teenager.
So basically,
a
they're
10-year-old.
both, in terms of human years, he's probably around like
10,
12.
6?
12.
Yeah, probably close. Like around like close to 10. You know, plus or minus a few years. Plus or minus a year or
Yeah.
two. So it's like between 9 and 11. That's roughly where I'd put him. This girl, the elf girl, I'd put her at roughly about maybe 12. You know? She acts it too.
Yeah.
Again, elves, they
Yeah, it's a
mature
slow
the same
maturity.
rate as humans, but until they're 100, they're still a child. So,
Yeah.
she is like
That's
a
fair.
baby in terms of elves. So you would be surprised if she actually knew how to read.
That's fair. Yeah. Litney also adds, if we get the guard captain to help, we might be able to reunite you with your family.
Everyone, you get a free insight roll at that, please.
All right, hold on. And how
If
Litney is putting
if
this,
any of you want to, double up and give help to each other, feel free.
I'll double up with Raz.
Okay, Raz, you can roll again. On disadvantage,
Or,
help action.
or we can take. Yeah.
Okay,
No.
Litney, Raz don't notice anything. Doug.
Yes.
He gets sad when you mention her family, but she immediately hides that. As you can tell, her best stat's charisma.
Yep.
Yeah, so basically, you for a moment you see that she gets sad when you mention her family, and then she immediately just goes back to just neutralish, just a sort of indignant expression from earlier, and she's like, "No, it's fine. Okay, let's go."
So what you're saying is you need a new family.
Oh my goodness!
As you say that,
Oh, sorry.
her expression crumples, and she just glares at you for a moment.
Doug will just look at her and go, "You can join us.
No,
Raz just raises a side
We'll even
saying,
help you kill those
Guard
who
captain
killed your
first."
family."
no, it's too late for that anyway. And she basically said, like, "No, it's fine. Listen, none of this. No, I'm not joining you. I never will. But we'll go and we'll talk to this guard captain lady, and then I gotta go."
Litney gets up, walks over to Inadi, and just puts their hand on their shoulder, and just gives a calm and loving smile, like reassuring that she's safe with them.
She doesn't
Yeah.
make eye contact. She doesn't say anything else.
You'll be fine. We all need a place to go to, and you'll always be welcome if you choose. Shall we be going then?
She nods, and basically, I take it you guys will leave now?
Basically, how to paraphrase is, you don't need to put on a brave face, but we're not gonna stop. But she's welcome.
but we're not gonna stop her from staying. From coming.
Leaving.
Uh, so the guard captain, you wanna go to Brawl
Brawl-
Alley like you did last time?
Litney
still
is keeping Litney is keeping Anadi safe if as they enter, because the moment they enter, there's probably going to be a brawl.
You would think that. But as you go over to Brawl Alley, like last time, you remember, well, Litney wasn't here the last time, but the other two were, and they did remember that there's a whole lot of fighting going on. You kind of imagine that probably morning time, everyone's going to be kicked out of the bar. They probably start another big fight or whatnot. But instead of that, there's just a bunch of people. Like the streets are fairly empty, but inside the bar, there's just a bunch of unconscious people piled up in one side. And it's the same bar which you guys came to the first time, where like all the tables have been put together to basically form like essentially a makeshift town hall.
Yep.
And currently the only people around are maybe just a few clerks and the guard captain lady. You feel
Needless.
you none of you saw it happen, but you're pretty sure she basically just you imagine that she basically just beat all of those people up because she got pissed off that they were taking up her time. You can't be 100% certain.
Just seeing this, Litney almost instinctively holds on to Anadi with almost like a protective parent. Like if she throws if the hands start throwing, and they're putting themselves in front of the girl.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Litney! By the way,
Yeah.
before you do enter, right?
Yeah.
Have some birds.
Oh no, not. Oh no, not the crow. These crows again.
Yep, definitely the crows are basically just coming after you like, "Ka! Ka! Idiot! Ka!"
Lenny's just like,
They start to harass you as usual, but they stop. They stop. Like then they fly. They stop hovering mid-air, just glancing down and seeing the small child that you're holding on to.
Lenny shoots a look like I'm busy right now.
The crows collectively glare at you. They
Can I roll
glare at the
intimidation?
child, they glare at you. You get the feeling if they had two more pairs of arms other than what they needed to fly with, that they do the 2 fingers on their eyes, 2 fingers at you, But you get the feeling that there's a small ceasefire because of an innocent who'll be caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, Lenny has that. That look Toriel made to Frogget.
Yeah.
That was kind of the look Litney's giving to the crows, like.
Oh yeah. And they're giving you the look of like, oh, just you wait. The moment that child is not there, you are going to get eaten so hard. That's the look they give you. Anyway, so the birds fly past you into the how would I say, into the bar tavern. I can't believe I've
Tavern.
never actually properly named it, but yes, basically they fly into the building, and they land next to guard captain Mabel, who's sitting there with a pile of documents already on the table, and the birds, one of them, they just produce more letters that just land onto the table. You're not entirely sure where the letters come from. They just seem to pull them out of their feathers, and you're like, "There's not enough space for that to fit."
Can I roll an Arcana?
Go ahead, feel free.
23. There's some magic BS going on here.
Yeah, you're pretty sure that a lot of the birds are familiars, or at least a few of them might, at least one of them might be a druid.
Oh, Linny's gonna still having Inadi in a protective manner, and her just like raises an eyebrow. Familiars or druids?
Guard Captain Maple's basically just staring at these paperwork, just says, yeah, you figured it out. Wonderful, gold star. Anyway, what do you guys need? Oh, right, wait. And she just digs through the paperwork, pulls out a a few notes, and basically just looks at them. Yes. It's you people. What was it here? Litney something. Razzle, Doug,
Nora.
DeHeader. And then she basically just looks down, Ayla, something I don't care, and Zid. Zid.
Zid.
Yeah. She
okay,
looks. She reads your
thinking,
notes. Yeah.
As soon as she mentions Zid and Ayla, Linny looks around, seeing if they can find them.
You do find them. Ayla is in the pile of knocked out people, just sort of waking up and they're like, my goddamn head, what happened?
Raz walks over and raises the sign, simply saying, "Celebrated a bit too hard, huh?"
Listen here, you little goddamn feline. You can never celebrate hard enough. That's blasphemy. Oh,
want
and
to
I
stop
was
that
just in
here.
the middle of my goddamn celebration when I don't remember. All I can remember is this tall woman just, and then he just looks over. He sees Mabel. Mabel narrows her eyes at him. He's like, I celebrated enough, ma'am. I'm perfectly fine.
Okay, there's no way Linny would need an insight check to know that she put the fear of God in him.
Either way.
Yeah, she didn't fight him. And Zid's sitting at a table. He is there in front of the grandma nanny. The grandma cat.
Litney whispers to Inadi, "Hey, can you go sit over with the little owl boy there? He was with us yesterday. He's very nice."
Where is
Uh,
click on
going
it.
to sit with Zid, asking her to go sit next to Zid. Maybe make some friends.
Okay, he's the grandma. The Zid is next to the grandma. So basically, as you tell her, she's like, no, that's stupid. Why would I need that? And then she smells the food, and the grandma nanny just waves over to her, is like, I'm not going because you told me to. I'm just curious, okay? So, and she just edges over, and the grandma nanny's like, oh dear, oh no, you look so thin. Come here, eat.
Then he just smiles. Play nice, you two. It's a new friend we made, Zid. Please make her feel comfortable.
It's like,
Raz just kind of leans on
okay.
Maple's desk. Straight. Oh.
What's
Raz
up?
just leans on Maple's desk and raises a sign saying, "So, need to know anything for us to turn this in, or did they fill you in on everything?"
So Mabel just kind of just stares down the paperwork, like, yeah. Okay, so I know some things. I basically just fill me in on everything that happened, and I'll just reference the paperwork just to make sure that you aren't lying. Also, by the way, be fair, there seems to be some what's this called? A fish taco. No, wait, the fish taco that are fatty vampires. There seem to be a few of those around.
Hmm.
The sign changes to say, "Yes, we're aware."
Very.
She's just looking at the paperwork, and it's basically it's like, "So that human who was with you, he seems to have been killed by one. You
Fair
wouldn't happen
enough.
to know
I
anything
mean,
about it, would you?" According to the
well,
scouts, he ran away from the group and then they found him dead later on.
you hit the nail on the head, uh,
This
Miss
is why you
Stockman.
travel in parties.
The moment he saw that there was more goblins, and he ran away, leaving leaving children and a woman, and to fend for themselves. Raz almost died as a result of their negligence.
He nods. Running running away isn't always a bad option, but
True,
but running away without a plan, that's not good.
there's also the issue of two of the goblins after we defeated them mentioned someone named the Dark Master, and
She turns to look at you as like, guys, how generic a name that is.
generic, yes, very generic.
Raz gets
But-
an idea and opens her bag to pull out the puppet.
Oh yeah, we also found this little guy in the cave with all that stuff. By the way, what's your name, little guy?
Continue to call me little guy, and I will inflict upon you the tortures of hell itself.
Lenny just as pats the puppet's head. And aren't you a little, obviously trying to pick on him a little. Aren't you a little angry little guy?
Well, now I'm not gonna say anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was only teasing.
I love that this is going on, and Mabel's just probably staring there like,
I would like to
Basically-
remind you,
yeah,
she is a paladin and
yes.
an Azamar.
So she would know that this is a puppet with a demon in it, right?
And is it a fiend?
Oh,
It's-
frick.
It is a pure demon. The
So-
thing is, it's an indestructible puppet,
It's
and
not.
it's essentially prison.
It's not a fiend. Okay, hold up one
That's a
second.
Full-blooded
So-
demon in there.
Okay, good. So basically, as you guys are basically just talking and waving around this demonic puppet,
Just teasing.
you basically just feel a wave of holy power just wash over a lot of you as
How bad does it
she uses divine sense. And
Wait, how bad does it all? Is it almost suffocating to Litney, given their situation? Or since we're playing,
no,
basically.
no.
Reborn.
It's too Litney. You just feel like like you just feel like you're being stared at by a person powerful enough to just kill you by poking you with a finger. That's what you feel like.
Litney, if their necrotic skin turns pale.
Puppet has turned its attention to the person that just basically sent a shudder of radiant energy around the place.
Yeah. a lot of the drunks also just kind of stare, like kind of just they don't stare, but you feel them like they all kind of just tense up. Maybe that's a better word to say. Like,
Yeah.
like they're getting chills down their spine or something.
They're preparing for
By the
another.
way, I will say this just so you guys get a good approximation of how strong she is. She is quite strong. In mechanical terms, what's the best way to describe this?
If we were to face her now, we'd be curb stomped.
In mechanical terms, you know for a fact she at least, she at minimum has an aura of protection.
Ooh.
I will say that
So-
much at least, because that's something you'd probably be able to know, And so she's looking at you guys, and she basically just says, "So you come bringing a demon sealed in a toy, and just start waving it around in front of me, a paladin."
My apologies. But this
Razzle,
is. You continue.
that just raises a sign going, well, first off, it can't really do anything, and second of all, we just wanted to tell you all the things that we found.
Exactly. This is mostly evidence. It's apparently this Dark Master is well. This is this. Are you a guy or a girl? Did they ask
Who
the
do you
puppet?
ask?
What about you?
I don't know. Haven't seen a coroner yet. Too afraid to.
He glares back at Mabel. I must say, you have energy almost as strong as the idiot who put me in here. Of course, I doubt you'd be able to break the seal itself.
He looks at you as basically just the fact of, know that you're a full-blooded demon, but from my senses, you're weaker than a child. It must be quite a strong seal. He just kind of just stares at you for a moment, stares at the doll for a bit longer, and then just glances at the rest of you people and just says, I mean, whatever. If you want,
There's
he basically just waves it off and says, that's not a. If that's a stolen item, so be it. That's an item that should not be possessed by anyone in town. So, you're not held responsible to deliver that to anyone. You're not held responsible to turn that in as well. Just
Okay.
have it looked at. Just have it looked at. Basically, just pauses, says, I'll call someone in, have them take a look at it. If they say it's fine for you to have it, you can have it. There's so many demonic artifacts, we can't keep track of them.
Raz just nods and puts the puppet away, much to his complaints.
By the way, Doug, was there anything else we were missing? I remember we were facing some crazy girl going by the name 3 of Triumph.
I think there was a pile of bones more than anything.
It was weird. They mistaken me as some fan kind of the Dark Master, but I have no recollection of it.
Mabel just she rubs her temple and she just lets out a sigh. God, I hate this. I hate this one so much. Why can't I just go out in the field and just murder things?
I'm so sorry for causing you such
It's
stress.
it's fine. It's not your fault. He says, just taking a deep breath. This isn't your fault. It's the fault of whoever's in charge, and the fault of those idiot humans and dwarves who just can't get along, and a sign of joint management that they have to call me here from the front lines to deal with this nonsense.
I can't imagine how stressful that can get.
It's fine. It's fine.
There is something unrelated to the.
Yes. Before that, she kind of just goes in. She just kind of just reaches down, just pulls out a coin purse or something, just looks into it. For services rendered, some payment of 25 gold per person. The human who's dead will not be counted. There was your other friend, a weird goblin, I'm told.
Oh,
That they have already claimed their money.
goblet. Oh yes, you're probably thinking of speaking of Laviande.
Yes, that was their name.
She's
The
actually she was actually
the barely dressed goblin. No, wait, hold up, my mistake. Double check. Wait 1 second. Okay, let me just rewind a tiny bit. She says goblin, and then she says, yes, that goblin disguised as a gnome.
She was actually originally a gnome, from what she's told us. Part of her pact.
Hey, Litney!
Warlock.
Litney!
Hmm?
Would you like to roll intelligence really quick?
Hey, I was just going by what.
Yeah. Would you like to roll intelligence really quick
save?
before you say that?
Intelligence save or intelligence?
Just intelligence, or history if you prefer. Maybe Arcana, whichever. Just roll an intelligence stat, please. Any intelligence stat would work, please.
9. Probably not gonna be enough to shut her up.
Wonderful! So you say that, and then she's just like, she narrows her eyes at you.
I assure you, Lady Laviande is very trustworthy. I mean, she had many chances to try and kill us, so I don't see any harm in her.
She doesn't say anything. She just takes out a piece of paper and writes something down. And then she puts that piece of paper. She just stuffs that piece of paper into one of the against one of the crows, who just takes it and just flies off. And she just turns to you, as like,
Man, aren't we? Man, sucks to be a Dr. Alexander right now. He wasn't here to stop me.
oh yeah. And she basically just gives you a stiff smile, almost like a customer service smile. It's basically like, wonderful. When you do come across her, just tell her to come by again. I just have a few questions. It's fine. And she just says, so basically you all get paid 25 gold.
Whoops.
Yeah, 25 gold, all of you guys get paid. And she says, you can be informed of the next job when you're willing. For now, what was that extra matter you wanted to talk about?
We happened to, can I roll insight very quick on that smile?
I don't think you need to, but go ahead.
2, wow.
I can't believe you've done this. I can't believe
Well,
No, I'm curious.
To be fair, Dr. Alexander is not here to,
Oh my god. So I will tell you this, at least Uh, Inadi has no clue what's happening. She actually got a she rolled a natural 1, so she got a -2. Got a -2 insight. She has no clue what's happening going
She's
on right
way
now.
too
She's
interested in the food and
oh
playing
yeah.
with
The grandma's like, "Oh no, you need to eat more. Have some soup." It's like,
Oops.
no. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I wanted it. It's just because you're just because you asked so nicely. Of course I will. Seconds, please. And Sid's like, wow, you eat a lot and you're really rude. Shut up. Okay.
Litney's just like, egg. Well, it's about the girl we brought in. Can we? Doug, do you think we should probably take this privately with the guards lady, with the guard captain, or is he okay? Because this is kind of important.
He looks over at the girl, the very obviously malnourished elven girl. She just looks back at you and says, I've heard vaguely from Litney. She just kind of looks down at the paperwork and she just says, you can meet me in an hour and we can talk about it in private.
Very well.
For now at least, would you like to hear about the next job we have available?
Sure.
Okay, so basically all three of you, we're not gonna do this all in character. I mean, if you want, we can. But I feel like it'd probably be better to summarize this a little bit more of just like, I'm gonna ask you out of character. Okay?
Okay.
So here basically the options, essentially. There is a mine. Okay, so there are 2 mines kind of nearby, not really. It's like, how do I explain? About a day away, there are 2 mines that basically she would like you to go to either of those 2 mines. One of them is basically it's kind of like in near the peak of a mountain or something. It's really cool. It's an ice mine essentially. It's like ice crystals and stuff like that. It's got certain minerals they want, but it's inhabited by kobolds, which is you know which is worrying. So there's going to be a lot of traps involved. The other mine which they have, it's inhabited by monsters. They're not entirely certain what kinds of monsters, because they haven't been able to send in any scouts deep enough. They know that there are some goblins in the outside. They inhabit the outermost layer of the mine, but inside there's some more monsters that they've heard, but the scouts haven't been able to get further in. So the first things would be like basically you could pick between one of those 2 mines to essentially just clear out, or at least provide very, very detailed maps of. If you just provide the map, you get paid a lot less, but if you clear it out, you get paid a lot more. Like, we're talking about, it'll probably take you several days to accomplish this, maybe, he thinks. It'll pay you out 150 gold per person. Alternatively, you could basically set out on a bit of an expedition to find a necromancer camp that's about 3 days away. She imagines that once you get there, you might get the whole job done in a single go. Not entirely certain. Again, all that she knows is it's a necromancer camp. It's about 3 days away, and the scouts have not been able to get very close. There is a third option. There's another option as well, but she basically says that it's annoying, so you probably won't be interested in that.
Well, depends on what it is.
Espionage.
Espionage.
Razzle
It's-
is like, yes.
so she
I am.
she basically says this is she basically explains that this mission isn't quite like the other missions are more focused on like combat exploration, things like that. This mission will probably have a decent chunk of that, but how do I explain this? There is tell
This is more of a stealth mission.
similar, not quite. Basically, she says, uh, there's a leprechaun mafia going on. Well, not mafia might be the correct word going on. Okay, so basically, there's several crime families. You know, basically each race has their own crime family, and there's some mixed race crime families. You know, they've kind of just divided themselves amongst that way. There is a leprechaun drug cartel essentially that they want to find and they want to deal with it. They don't need you to hunt down anyone specifically. They need you to find the location of that headquarters.
Um,
Yeah.
when
So
and,
the problem is they can't give you any solid leads other than the fact that it's a leprechaun led drug cartel.
whenever they mention the leprechaun drug cartel, they
Doug,
look to the kid.
Doug,
Yes.
you're getting some vague. You get the vague feeling. You know, it might be related to what you've been. You know, what you saw last night. Can't be entirely sure. It could just be a coincidence, but you get the strong feeling that it could.
I will mention. I will mention this, I suppose, to the person we are talking to. His name is escaping me
She
currently.
raises an eyebrow and says, "I can't be sure. That may be them, may not be them. There's first off, leprechauns do tend to always dress alike and act alike. So, dress alike and look alike. It's tough to determine between one and the other just based on eyewitness testimony, especially when one's not that familiar with leprechaun. It could be an unrelated. It could be just a few unrelated leprechauns, or it could actually be a lead. But thank you for telling me this. I'll have some people look into it. So basically, out of character, which you guys interested in? That's basically a mine. You know, there's a clearing out a mine. That's clearing out an ice mine. You know, like the mine has unknown monsters. The ice mine has kobolds. An expedition to a necromancer camp. That'll probably just be done. You know, it's probably for the mines you probably might have to go back and forth. Depends. You know, between a base camp. The necromancer camp might be something which you just clear out as one solid siege, perhaps. And the other option is basically investigate the drug cartel.
Litney looks to the girl.
I think it might be more important if we, since this is what we want to speak to you about is related to the girl, and the drug cartel. I mean, it could be.
She nods and says, "Fine. Then we'll meet again in about an hour." She kind of just points a thumb behind her. You can just meet me in the back. I'll get a private room somewhere. We can talk about.
All right.
Litney's like, something tells her like, nah, don't mention Laviande. Oh dear Lord, I feel like Dr. Alexander's gonna be mad at me.
He might not. Because I think he might appreciate what I've got planned now. Okay, so the rest of you guys, you basically all decide that you're gonna put off the decision until you talk with her, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, that sounds
because
like fun.
especially since it's well, I feel like we should, especially since it's related to the girl.
Fair enough. So there's not much time left. So I'm gonna ask you: do you want to deal with that conversation now, or do you want to try doing this maybe out of session? You know, like outside the campaign, just in text chat or something. Just pass around ideas. You know, I'll give you a summary. You guys can basically discuss amongst yourselves, and then we'll basically next session when we start, I'll essentially just summarize that.
All right,
That sounds unique.
I feel like it. Just watch next session.
Yeah,
and
because I feel like, again, you got two options essentially. We either sit down here and we either talk this out, you know, in person, or you know, in the text chat itself. I can just give you the rundown because I feel like this might just be more. You know, you get the technical stuff like what's happening, and then you guys got to decide where you stand on it.
Alright.
I don't know. It's up to you guys. Pick.
I'm okay with us discussing and
Yeah,
where we
because
want to go.
I feel like, you know, if we actually do this in RP, it's gonna take a while.
I would say if we are going to go with the espionage one, well, take it down the well, at least locating the drug cartels. Base. Are we going to let Zid and Ayla join in?
You know
At the
what?
very least, Zid has to come with.
I feel like it's a good idea to end the session.
Fair enough. Again, we can discuss
No,
this.
like at least ending the stream here. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So to everyone watching, thanks for watching. I don't know if anyone's actually watching right now. I see the number. I don't see anyone in chat. I hope you have a great day. I'm pretty excited. I can't wait to see where we go from here. And goodbye. We're gonna end the stream in 3, 2, 1. Take care.